welcome to our last show, episode 7.
Yes, sir.
It's good to be back.
Yes, sir.
Good to have the team back. How you guys feel, man?
Feel good, man. Let's get it.
Hey, I need a little excitement. How you guys feel? Feel good?
We're excited. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Alright, thank you guys for being patient with us. The team took some PTOs. And, but we got some great feedbacks on things we could do to improve the show.
Yeah.
Like I said, it feels good to be back. Thank you guys for being patient. Thank you for your support. Thank you for reaching out. And our let's still sponsored by
Nobody.
Come on, we need some sponsors. Some sponsors. All right, guys. So over the past week, we had people reach out to us about current issues in Africa that we should discuss. So the team got together and we decided on 2 topics. So today, the first topic we'll be discussing is the high rate youth unemployment in Africa, and then the second thing we're going to talk about is African investment. So make sure you guys, dial in at 531-600-8733 to give us your 2 cents.
Yep.
You guys ready to start?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, I'm excited.
Cool. All right, guys. So the first thing I have on the list here is, the high rate youth unemployment in Africa. Which I feel like is the greatest challenge for Africa. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
That's literally the greatest challenge Africans are facing.
Big time.
You guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what I have here is that 6 of the 10 fastest growing economies in the world are in the sub-Saharan Africa, but the unemployment rate in that region have hovered over 12% and 14% ever since that crisis in 2008.
Wow.
Yeah, and then in Africa, it seems like 15 to 24 years old are considered youths in some countries, and then some other countries from 15 to 34 are considered youths.
15 to 34.
Yeah, we live here, in the States, but you can't be 34 and be considered a youth. You know what I mean?
That's a growing youth.
That's a grown youth, right? Yeah. So why do you guys? I'll just go around and ask. Why do you guys think we're having these issues in Africa with the high rate and employment? Why is the rate so high? And we did discuss. We did post a question.
Yep. And there were some good comments.
Good comments. A lot of people reached out and say it was because of lack of opportunities, and then a lot of people say motivation. Some people say a lot of youth just need a lot of guidance.
Yeah.
Guidance. So
Corruption.
Exactly. We're here to talk. We're here to discuss. So come on, guys, talk to me, man. Talk to me.
Well, let's take it from the opportunities point, right? We do say that we've been accustomed to saying that there isn't enough opportunities for the youth in Africa, right? They just don't have anything to do. The money isn't there. Things aren't happening. Now, having been back home lately and keeping up with what's going on the motherland, especially in Togo, I would say that that's not quite a fact. The fact actually proves otherwise, and opportunities is coming left and right from the youth. And I think the biggest thing is when there isn't a way in the traditional, they apply for a job and get hired. They're looking for internships, trying to go through the traditional ways of getting into the workforce. When those blocks are actually not there, when those roads are not there, I've seen a lot of the youth just make their own ways, and which has been very very inspiring for me. Just from the very youngest age, I've seen I think Togolese people, Africans, are just mostly very innovative, and you see a little small business at every corner of every street, just people making things happen for themselves. So I think that's a little bit unfair to say that they're unmotivated or that there isn't enough opportunities. I think they are there, and they're hungry for it. The youth is working hard, and they need the guidance part, I would say, from us to kind of support them, and having seen how things work outside, then we can provide that guidance. I don't want to hog the microphone too long, so
good point. I totally agree with all he said. Because right now, like you mentioned, at the sub-Saharan, like Africa, right now we got the biggest youth population,
absolutely,
across all continents. And like you mentioned, the opportunities are there. Like there's a high demand for everything. in Africa right now, but there's no supply. So that's why a lot of big corporations and even companies, well, especially Chinese people,
Right.
they are trying to take over right now to supply those all the items that are missing and that are needed.
What do you
Because if
mean
you
by, sorry, what do you mean by no supplies? Because I mean, don't
okay, one thing I'll tell you right now. For
Yeah.
example, in Togo, like just pig, you know, like hanshi,
Yeah.
hanshi,
Okay.
pigs,
Alright,
like hanshi. There's not a lot of people that are growing pigs right now in Togo.
Okay.
So if there's like somebody that have a farm and growing pigs, like those people that sell those hanshi,
Right.
they will come straight up to you and be like, all the pigs, I'm gonna buy all the pigs from you.
Okay.
Because there's a big demand for that.
Absolutely.
And the price of just a small pig right now is extremely high because there's no supply. So that's one thing I'm talking about. Like, the opportunities are like, yeah, there's a high demand for a lot of stuff, but there's no supply. Most do not, provide those items. For,
I like that you went
know.
straight to the pork, man.
Well, because I mean,
Let's get some meat on the table while we're
yeah,
at it.
because we always say there's big famine in Africa.
Yeah.
People are hungry. It's because there's no food. Nobody's providing the food. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do want to say something as well. You know, preparing for this show, when I just typed into Google on youth unemployment in Africa, the first thing that comes up, you just see a whole bunch of stuff on agriculture, right?
Yeah.
Agriculture opportunities, how that's really where the solution for
Yep,
Africa youth
exactly.
employment is agriculture. So right, so we have all this youth, we have all this young people, they gotta eat, right?
They have to eat.
So they have to eat, and we have you can plant something on on most of Africa's land. 95% of the year is a good weather to plant something,
Yep.
right? European countries, they have I don't know 30% of seasons, specific seasons. There isn't much that grows on those soils, right?
Exactly.
You can grow anything anywhere now, well, on the land and get food, right? So we're feeding the world. We have the potential to feed the world. So I think agriculture is one of the big things that we should look at.
So,
So,
no, I have a question. So we're talking about, for example, Chinese come in and help us out, and we're talking about supply, right? But the land is there,
yeah.
right? The opportunity is there. People have time to grow their own stuff, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think is stopping us? Infrastructure, or like what is stopping us for like
I probably
growing whatever we want? Because
one will be the knowledge. People don't know how to do it. And a lot of people don't want to do it.
Right.
well, that's the thing
You
though.
know?
Don't want to do it.
And
Different
can't
than
do it.
can't
Yeah.
do it. For
Yeah.
example, we talked a couple shows ago. We talked about how most young they want to work in offices.
Right.
Yeah, that's the
They
thing.
don't really look at agriculture as the big ticket. You know what I mean? They want to
Exactly.
work in an office. They want to get a diploma working in an office, right? So that's
Yeah.
not. It's not that they cannot do it. They just don't want to do
Yeah,
it.
that's the don't want to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So back to my question. My question is: Are we giving them enough information? Do they see the potential in agriculture,
Right.
or are we just going with the flow and say, you know what? If you don't want to do it, then let's have foreigners come here and then help us out.
I mean, on the point of agriculture, the thing is the unemployment in agriculture will still be high because when kids go to school, like when they go to university to study, like we don't have a whole lot of Africans that are studying like stuff like agronomy,
Yeah.
stuff that is related to agriculture. So
Right.
the unemployment in that area will be high. But on the other hand, we have too many people studying like business and IT related job back home. Just the basic though, not what we do here.
Right,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
right.
But the supply of those jobs is so limited. We don't have like a whole lot of those jobs available for like
Yeah.
people that are graduating to apply for. So that also is a reason why the unemployment rate in those areas is high. But on the other hand, like in the agriculture, I mean, not a whole lot of kids are really studying anything related to agriculture. Plus, to really like do like a good like farming production in Africa. I mean, we are so behind. We need like, I mean, it's not like going and then just using like those old like materials, equipment to do agriculture. You know what I mean? Like here, people have like some of the most innovative equipment that you don't even have to be on your farmland to plant your crops or anything like that. You know what I mean? You can be sitting in your room and then just like guide the equipment, and then the equipment can pretty much plant everything you want. You know what I mean? We don't have those back home, so
one small family, one person, just one family can live on like 5 acres of land.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They'll take care of all the crops.
Yeah.
But back home, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
5 acres of land, you
Yeah.
got at least thousands of people, and they
Yeah.
don't even
But I feel
produce
like,
as much.
personally, I feel like we should spend more time talking about the advantage of like focusing on like agriculture and not like, I don't want to say force, but not like, because a lot of young, like you said, they want to do IT, I get it. They want to do economy, I get it. But if you are in Africa and you want to grow Africa, you want Africa to, agriculture is big.
Yeah,
A couple of shows ago, I talked about Ivory Coast supply about 40% of coffee and cacao, right? And Ghana supply about 20%. Two countries in Africa supply 60% of the world coffee. That's incredible.
it is.
That's the potential. We should focus on things like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Starbucks everywhere.
yeah, think about it. 60% of the entire world,
Yeah.
just two countries.
Yeah.
That's big.
That's big.
But if you look at, I bet you that if you look at 95% of the the youth in I didn't check the stats, but if you look in Ivory Coast or Ghana, I bet you that 80% is they're not gonna focus on agriculture.
Exactly.
But that's the future though.
Yeah.
Do you see where I'm going
Yeah,
with
I
this?
know what you're
But
saying.
we got sorry to cut you off. We got a comment here on Facebook. It says because they have been formatted to believe, from Kelly Amuzu. It says because they have been formatted to believe being in the office is the only way to be somebody,
Right.
which is what we all agree on.
Yeah.
We have a tremendously big work to do on our mentality, beliefs, and formatting.
Right.
Deep work needed. We are not raised to think as entrepreneurs in Francophone country, in Francophone Africa,
That's true.
which is, I think, Mesa, you talked about that last time, a couple shows ago. That you see countries like Nigeria or Ghana, they're so way up
Entrepreneurs,
their mentality.
Right.
And then she said, got to fix that, and it will require deep inner work. Working on that slowly will keep you posted. She said,
Very
working
true.
on that slowly will keep you posted.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate it. Thank you.
I would say that one thing that I noticed with French-speaking countries of Africa is we talked about it. You gotta go to school, go to school, get an office job. Wear the big suit. Stay in the office with AC on day long. And then that's how you make it. But we don't really prioritize learning the trade, right?
Yeah.
So
Technical stuff.
I gotta say, we gotta be honest with ourselves. School, advanced school is not for everybody, right? I get that you gotta get to your, to the basic, office, get to your, at least get your GED, your high school diploma, right? To at least be knowledgeable enough to have a real business-oriented conversation. But, Look at our university, for instance. Like all these young men they're strong. They all just want to go to school. Some are in it, failing, but then they just keep pursuing that same thing. Whereas your parents, they probably have a business going on. Your parents probably have some kind of specific knowledge, right? They're probably welders, they're farmers, electricians, all those things that all these trades. So we gotta invest into those trades as well, right? If you go to Gama should do a little bit and things like that. You see, countries like Mali, Burkina Faso, all those people send their people over and doing these trades that most of us in Togo don't do, right? And that's dirty money, right? People go and then they go back to their home countries and build mansions and things like that. So that money is there, and those investment opportunities are there for us if you learn those trades, right? So that will also reduce our unemployment issue. So not necessarily have to, go to school to the highest levels of it. It's not for everybody, man. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, so I read an article that Tony Elumelu, he's a Nigerian.
Okay.
He's worth,
The richest, you mean the richest man in Nigeria?
he's worth 700 million.
Dangote is the richest.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's the richest, but he's
What you say, man?
what he said was that, you know, one of the things the private sectors can do is increase investment in Africa. You know, and then he said when we invest, we create economic opportunities for people. You know what I'm saying? Through the value chain, such as you know, paying tax. And he said another important solution is for the, you know, private sector to help encourage young people, young African entrepreneurs, by giving them support from the start of their business until they're able to go out there and grow on their own.
Yeah.
Which, like we were talking about, I feel like when you do go to school here, they do teach you those basics that you need to
Oh
survive.
yeah,
Where,
like, I mean, I didn't go to high school here, but I know that they do carpentry,
yeah, they do
you know,
all those
things like that, like,
Yeah, they go, yeah.
just basic.
Even in Ghana, like at a young age, even like elementary school, they teach you about crops and everything, right?
Right.
And that's one thing, you know, I wrote down also that a lot of other African countries like Ghana, Zambia, you know, Nigeria, and other couple countries, they have a plan. You know, they have like a little youth system that encourage, you know, education for young people. You know, to like we're talking about, to help them get to that next level. So
There was this one, well, I forgot his name, but he was originally from Nigeria, I believe. But that guy that lived in California. I think we saw the article, well, he had a video on YouTube where he has, he started in Nigeria. He got his own, like, farm.
Oh yeah.
Like, I forgot his name.
I think we saw that video.
Yeah, well, so that's one video. We'll probably share the link on the comments so you guys can check him out.
Okay.
So he pretty much grow like any type of crops, and he has enough. Everything is like work around where he has a clean energy, like all the waste he doesn't actually go
Yeah,
away.
he-
He can produce gas that he uses right away. So that technology, like the agriculture piece of it, that's something that can be expanded in like all neighboring countries. You know, just like educate other people
He
about
can,
it.
like someone like that, he can set that intellectual right. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to, like, be like, oh, they will steal my ideas or something.
No, he's not
Like,
even cocky about it.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
know.
like,
Like,
a lot of people are
yeah,
pushing.
like I guess
He's
what I'm
willing
trying to
to.
say, people like that should be like you were saying, going around
Yeah,
and then teaching youth like those kind of opportunities.
Yeah, because like his profit, not revenue.
Yeah.
His profit was like 600 million
Yeah.
francs CFA.
Yeah.
That's $3 million.
one thing I also looked up on was that the population of the youth, you know, African youth. We have a fast growing population.
We do.
And then they say by 2045 or something like that, it's gonna multiply by like 10 or up to like 400 million or something like that.
Hey, Africa is big.
It's big, yeah, I know it's big. So do you guys think the high rate of unemployment is due to population also? Or is it only lack of opportunities?
I mean, the more people, the higher, you know, unemployment rates will grow for sure. But the opportunity is there, right? So just because there are more kids, you know, being born every year, I don't think that explains why they're not working. I mean, there are jobs, you know, there are ways to survive there.
So they're not go-getters? Is that what you're trying to say? That the opportunities are there, but people are actually not taking
Yeah.
I mean,
the initiative to actually go out there?
I guess I just feel like, personally, I just feel like the opportunity is there, but to get it, it is hard.
It's hard, right?
It is not that easy. You know what I mean?
And me personally, I just feel like there's no structure.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I think there's no structure. We need to go back to the basics. I mean, back in school, we need to teach kids how, just like you talked about. You know, it's not. You don't have to be a banker. You don't have to. You know, you can do technical. You know what I mean?
Right.
As long as you have the basic stuff to have a conversation with someone, or travel and things like that. But I feel like, we have to go back to the basics.
I
We
think
have to
also
go back to the
like
basics.
JJ was reading an article earlier. I know like people always like blame the government, saying the government's not doing that. Like all the government has to do is make sure like they attract investor in the country, because like those like public companies, they can only have like so many. The governments already have like have to deal with healthcare, have to do a lot of stuff. The investor, the public, the private sector has to be like the main focus of like bringing jobs into countries, and then have to also do like like you say, structure. having a structure saying, okay, this investor coming into the country, they can have like lower taxes for the the first 5 years, first 10 years, but that way they hire like you, so we can just lower the unemployment rate.
Yeah. So while we posted that, when we posted the agenda that we're going to talk about, I know people come in and say the government doesn't make it easier for people to do business in Africa. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
That that's one thing the government also need to do, make it easier
Yeah.
for businesses to do business in Africa.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like they're getting better though.
Better at it?
Yeah, they're getting better for sure. I just got back from Togo, obviously, so I seen the change from 2013, 2015 to this year. I seen the change. I feel like they're getting better. Other countries are doing obviously more, but I see the change. But definitely, the government has to do whether they have to give us more opportunities, and the kids are willing to get it done. And the young guys living in different countries, they're willing to get it done too. Most of us here that live here or in Europe, we're willing to do something back home, but the doors have to be open. If not, we can get it done, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there needs to be politics that encourage small businesses from starting and growing, right? Because small enterprises, small businesses, grow jobs, and so if there are politics in place that encourage, like lending money, borrowing money to start a business, like interest rates, lower interest rates, things like that, encourage investment.
Yeah.
So I mean, that part that I feel like the government can do something about. But still, I wouldn't say that that's definitely like what's stopping everything. It will definitely be helpful. But yeah, starting something, you have an idea, you have a bright idea, start it. Don't wait for anyone. Don't wait for the government to feed you.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and start it.
We also have to encourage the diaspora to invest back home.
Yeah.
Because frankly, like when we were all living back in Togo, we didn't know what we were missing.
Right.
We had to step out of our zone and then look back and be like, oh my goodness, we could have been doing this. Like there's opportunity in this field. All this stuff we are doing it wrong. We could have been doing it a different way.
Right.
So I think it's up to us, mainly the people from the diaspora, to go back and implement those ideas and try to create those jobs that we are talking about for the youth.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you are 100%. I do want to add a comment though, and it might piss some people off in the diaspora, but I just want to say this. We have to get it out of our head that like Africa is not like growing. We have to get that myth. Some people don't even travel back home. They just assume that things are not going well.
Right.
They just hear things or they just read article and they just assume that, oh, I'm not going to invest. Well, that's the whole point. Personally, I feel like it's a technique for us that live here not to invest back home.
Right.
Because we are the one with the power. We are the one that have the capital to make change
Right.
or to just start something back home, right? And I feel like we have to do a better job by doing more homework. If you want to invest in IT, do more homework in IT and find out what is available. Because we used to say, oh, if I want to do this, the government's going to say no. Did you try?
Right.
A lot of people say, well, I want to do this, I want to do this, but I don't think it's going to work. It will never work in Togo. Did you try? Like, we have a lot of myth and we read so many articles. We see, okay, Chinese are in Togo. Oh my God, this is bad for Togo. Focus on what you can do for Togo.
Right.
Focus on what you and the guys or your group. What do you want to do for Togo? Focus on your project and make it work. Because I feel like a lot of people in diaspora they just gave up on Africa, man.
Right.
I don't know. That's just my 2
Is
cents.
it because they got too comfortable living here, or
That and they believe everything they watch on TV. They believe it's kind of like how like we say you see like bad part of Africa and then you
Right.
assume that Africa is bad.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, you have bad and good.
Right.
But I feel like some did try, and I'm 100% sure, probably some people in the diaspora, they did try to do something back home, and they failed multiple times, and they probably trying to give up on that. You know what I mean? But they have to keep pushing, like to your
Right.
point. Like, even, I don't know, even if it's in the neighboring countries, you tried it.
Right.
So
Just do something to help the youth. You know, it'll be more
If
beneficial.
you give up, no one's gonna go and do it. The French people are not gonna
Yeah.
go and help Africa. Like Americans are not gonna go and help us out. They're not gonna feed us, right?
Right.
You know, Chinese are not gonna go there to feed our people. They have close to 1 billion people to worry about themselves.
Right, exactly. Like let's say we go online right now, we're reading an article that says there's Chinese that go to Togo and buy, I don't know, 50,000 acres. This is just an example, right? The first thing you're gonna be like, why? What did we say to the Chinese? Right? So have we thought about, like, let's say there's a group of guys that want to invest back home.
Right.
Sometimes we're scared to invest back home because we feel like the return is not gonna be there.
Right.
Why do we have that mentality? Why are we scared of our own continent?
It's because we don't have this. We haven't done the study. Now, like you said, if you go back home,
Right.
you see that there are people who are starting these
Right.
things and they're eating,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
They're well off.
That's why.
We
That's
have- we
that's
have-
that's that,
we
exa-
haven't
that's
done the
exactly
business.
that's exactly my point.
Their business is booming off of this.
Yeah. That's exactly my
That's the
point.
thing.
Just
like,
yeah.
go ahead.
We don't have
Just
the
a
numbers.
couple points that I just want to make to that argument. Like in college, I took development economic courses, and a lot of my studies has only focused on Africa. Like just kind of see what is going on there, and then some students studies Asia and all that kind of stuff. Me, I personally focus on Africa, and one of the things I keep reading on several economic papers is like, okay, Africa is the next big thing, and a lot of the fastest growing economies in the world are all located. A lot of them are mostly located in sub-Saharan Africa, and to the point that we having. I mean, my only thing about bringing in, I don't mind bringing in like Chinese to come to Africa and develop things, good things, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I don't mind that part, but my thing is when they do come, they don't teach their technology, their way of doing things to African youth. They hire their own people
Oh, yeah.
to come to Africa and then to complete those projects, which is not favoring Africa, which is not favoring like the African youth. I mean, it's fine, they can come and build these
On
roads.
that point, that's what Ghana.
Yeah, that's why
kicked
some
them out.
that's why some countries like Southern Africa or Ghana, they are kind of fed up with that, and they like, I mean, youth, because the youth is there. I mean, they need those kind of job too, but they see the government like contracting with those big foreign companies coming in, and then they will come in and then they will hire their own people to do all those to develop all those projects, and that to me that doesn't help Africa youth in any way.
I'm sure.
That really doesn't help us. That's my only thing about that.
Yeah, it's up to us to help our own people.
I'm pretty sure there should be like an agreement that if you want to do the project here, you have to use labor from.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure some countries will have those kind
Well, they should.
Yeah.
That's what
But-
Ghana signed initially, and the Chinese said no, and then they kick him out.
Yeah.
Or they wanted to use their own labor.
Yeah.
Because right now I know the Chinese are building like a train right from like I think Congo someplace in like from the east, from the west side of Africa all the way to like Kenya. Or like I don't know, like it is still I think ongoing. I don't know when that, but I think most of the people working on that project are mostly Chinese, and we don't like have a whole lot of African youth working on those kind of stuff. So
It's depressing.
So you guys are saying
The only-
we do have the infrastructure for business
do.
to grow.
Oh,
I mean,
there's a lot of opportunity
yeah.
there to go.
Yeah. The only scary part though, when you, like if you take like Chinese example for example, if you look at Togo, we probably not seeing anything, but like in 15-20 years,
oh yeah.
you know, all those, because they come to Togo and they love it, they decide to stay. Well, most of them decide to stay. They have kids sometimes. So
I mean, there is a lot of opportunity in Africa. I mean, Africa is the next big thing. Like, Africa is the next big thing, and there is so much opportunities there. And I think, like you guys were saying, the government doesn't. It's not the job of government to create job. Honestly, the government is just there to kind of like make it easy for the private sector
Facilitate.
to facilitate for the private sector to create job. A lot of job growth come from the private sector, and if the government doesn't really lead the way, I mean, it would be hard. But
Do we have any other comments? Is there any? What do you guys think? Let us know what you guys think about this conversation, man. Youth employment and investing in Africa. Because we want to see what you guys think as well.
yeah, JJ, I think we in one of the comments that someone posted, I think I was reading it. I think they said it is also due to lack of motivation.
I think.
I don't think so, because personally, I mean, African, we hustle, man. We study a lot, and I don't think. I mean, it's not like we're not motivated or anything, because we want to do better. You know?
I think what the motivation part is, I think that also kind of just relates back to what we were saying about how a lot of people, they don't want to work. They don't want to do like the yard work. They want to do like the office jobs, right? So
That's that type of motivation.
that's
okay,
kind
I
of
see
what I'm
what
talking
you
about.
mean.
Because I mean, I feel like you said, there's that the infrastructure is there.
Yeah.
You know, yes, we do like a little bit of knowledge and things like that, but I feel like if you really do want it,
Yeah.
you go out there and do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, here, everybody hustles. Some people do 2-3 jobs just to make ends meet.
Yeah.
Right? You don't need motivation for that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I feel like we're talking about how sometimes people, they say there's opportunities. Okay, yeah, but at some point you can't just keep relying on the government.
Right.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you got to go out there and get it yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like
Yeah.
that's the mentality most of us have here is, hey, you got to hustle or you're not going to eat. Right? So,
I think bottom line, it comes to diaspora being able to go back home and showing the way and leading, initiatives that will, create those jobs, right?
We got a copy what the diaspora group from Senegal. They were
Right.
in.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That was in Europe.
Yeah.
How they were able to build that little community
Back
from the
home, right.
ground up. Dude, if we do that, it's money, man.
Right. I mean, if you don't know the opportunity, if you don't know that, I could turn this into this, you're probably not gonna start it. If you've never seen it done, you're probably not gonna start it, right? So living abroad, we've been exposed to different cultures, and especially in the United States, you see everything that goes on in the world in this melting pot of a country. So I think that with that knowledge, we can definitely go back home and inspire something, start something, show the way. Yeah.
yeah, and after reading Tony's article, another thing that I came up on, he said that one of the ways that government can help create a conducive environment for business is to make it attractive for domestic investors to put money into projects that are bankable. You know what I mean, to put money into projects that are bankable, because there are a lot of projects that are bankable. And so, I mean, you guys see we have the infrastructure. So why are we not attracting some investors that want to create something for Africa instead of just coming and taking
Take it back.
taking it and leaving?
All right. What? We should take a quick break.
Yeah.
Take a quick break. Come back. Let's see if there's any comment out there. We kind of touched on the two biggest topics that we wanted to discuss. So by the time we get back, we might have some comment and we can wrap it up.
All right, for sure. Sounds good.
All right, let's get it. Il est à l'aise.
Yeah, our last show sponsored by
Nobody.
Like I've been saying, we need some sponsors.
We're winning.
So we're back from the break, and you want to tell them what we discussed?
Yeah. We just set me up like that. All right. So we spent a lot of time talking about investment opportunities in Africa. The diaspora. We need you to share the ideas that you have as a leader. Go back there and show the way, right? And then we also talk about youth employment. It's not as bad as it looks on media in Africa, really. Just if you don't go back there and live the realities, you can't really understand them.
Yeah.
So,
I think one of the biggest takeaways, if you want to do something, if you have a project in mind, whatever it is, do your homework. Okay. Study the the area, whatever you want to focus on, and make it work. Don't wait on nobody. Let's not make any excuses. We tend to do that a lot. Do your homework and try to make it work.
And then one follow point to that, the other thing I guess I wanted to add to it is that we have a lot of African in the diaspora that are really studying in, like say, in either the US or in Europe. And we have a lot of really innovative people
Yeah,
outside of Africa. So
with
one
some bright
way-
ideas.
Exactly, with some bright ideas, and we need to bring those people back home to really pull everything back to that. I mean, to apply everything that they've learned. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
a lot of Asian kids, a lot of them after they graduate, I mean, most of them go back to their country. And
Yeah.
look at Asia now; they literally apply everything that they learn here, and they copy everything and then just start applying there. So we need to be doing the same thing in Africa too.
Yeah, one thing that I really like about, I don't know if you like the Indian government, for example, if they give you a visa, you come here, you study, they give you time. They give you like I think it's 6 months to find a job after you get your degree. But the job has to be at least, depending on if it's bachelor or master, it has to be at least 6 figure.
Oh wow.
I think for bachelor it's 80,000. If you find a job that is under 80,000, they will not renew your visa.
Oh wow.
Because they want you to either come back and apply what you learned like in India, or you can stay here. But if you're gonna stay here, you're gonna have to make a lot of money, and then you can bring more people if you want to. But my point is,
Bring back those kind of like
yes,
whatever you
yes, yes.
back home.
Yeah.
Help you out.
Either you stay here, make a lot of money, so you don't have to struggle, or you go back and implement whatever you learn. I like that.
All right, guys. Show's about to wrap up. One of the things I wanted to add was from reading the article, Tony's article, was that he has this idea. It's called Africa capitalism, which is basically a combination of business and philanthropy. He said we need to encourage businesses to make sensible and responsible investment. You know that the motive should not only be about making profit, but it's also be about adding social benefits to society. You know, when you bring business together and social growth, it's good for society. So when you do start a business and your business is booming, you know, make sure you do invest it back in the community. You know, building a hospital, building a youth center for kids and things like that, which I wanted to add before we wrap up here.
Yep.
And then one thing I also gotta say, we need to realize that no one but us, we develop Africa, and if we do not invest in our own continent, others will not have the confidence to also invest. I feel like that's one thing that, like we're talking about, that people are scared of it,
Investing in Africa.
Yeah, so I feel like once we do start seeing those changes, people will have the courage to actually want to go back and start doing business.
You said a great thing that reminded me of a takeaway that I have from our summit, is that we gotta change the way people look at Africa, right? We gotta change the way big businesses in the Western world look at Africa, right? It's not a place where you go and donate money to people. It's not a place where you buy people clothes and buy them.
You gotta change the narrative.
It's a place where you can go and invest and make money, right? So and things like that as well, because once their investment coming from left and right, that will create jobs and things like that. So we don't just want free handouts, but it's a place to invest.
Right, we gotta change the narrative. We gotta change the narrative. I do have some quick shout out. Can I make some quick shout out?
Yeah.
All right, quick shout out to Athlete Drip Shop. They reach out to me on Instagram. Wanted to give them a shout out. Go check them out. They have some good stuff out there. Design shoes, design clothes, whatever you wanna.
Where's it again?
It's called Athlete Drip Shop.
All right.
Athlete Drip Shop. This guy's name is Louis. Very nice guy, Louis. Also, I want a big shout out to my guy Frank Ohen. He's an artist in Togo. He gave me, he didn't give me. He made a
Freebies.
no freebies, but I love his paintings, so I was able to buy 4 or 5 of them. Just want to give him a good shout out. He's not live right now, but I know he's gonna watch it next day. So shout out Frank. Eduardo, keep going. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Anything else you guys want to add before we wrap up? Any other shout outs?
Any shout out? If you do have a business, you want us to give you a shout out, again, it's free. We just like to promote businesses, so there's nothing wrong with it. Give us a quick, either email, reach out to us on Instagram, Facebook, and we just do that.
So the show is coming to an end. You know, if you guys watched it, leave a comment, feedbacks, everything that can help us. You know,
And next topic, let us know what do you want to hear.
exactly what you want to hear.
Yeah.
The next topic, you know, just drop a comment or write us in the DM. So anything that can help us grow and make the show better for you guys.
Yeah, yeah. And hopefully you guys like the change. Keep them coming. Or anything you want us to do different, let us know.
And the next show is next Sunday, right?
Next,
Yeah.
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
So tune in, guys.
Be on time, be on time.
This show is sponsored by
Nobody. Let's get it. Thank y'all.
Thank
Y'all
you.
have a blessed Sunday.
People here. Yeah, classic. Yeah,
Next level.